Okay, so hi everyone. Welcome back. Thanks for hanging in there with us. We are so excited to be covering season 11
Season
now of Married at First
11.
Sight,
Woo!
which is in New Orleans. It is beautiful. We have got a really, really good cast. We are so excited.
Yeah.
Um, so this season we have five couples again. So we got Christina Henry, we've got Olivia and Brett, Amelia and Bennett, Karen and Miles, and Amani and Woody. And we have got just a cast of characters. Like I am so excited to dig into each of these because like they did such a great job with all of these people. So this season we're doing it a little bit differently. We'll talk about what's happening in each of the episodes, but we're kind of going by topics. So today we'll be talking about everything kind of leading up to the wedding. So we're going to give our first impressions of the couples. We're going to go into our favorite couples and if we think that they're going to last, which is very interesting to compare to what we're inevitably going to change our minds completely on by the end of the season. We're going to go over the bachelorette and bachelor parties and then the weddings. And next time we'll talk about the honeymoons and all that good stuff. So to kick it off, let's get to it. What do you guys think of first impressions of all these folks?
I like that this time they switched it up a little bit. We don't have the picture perfect couples that are always in front of the TV, which I think like a lot of these cast members are very good looking already, and that's not like the problem that they were getting at.
You
But I'm
calling
trying to
them
like,
ugly? Is that what you're saying?
no. I'm saying
Got
that
some
these
homey
people,
looking.
we need
Just like
more makeup
homey
on
look,
that cast member.
Homely.
Can you go back to set, please?
just take like 5 steps back. That's fine. We can see you enough.
Yeah,
Oh, wait,
keep
me?
keep going.
Can you turn the lighting down?
No. I mean that like.
Should I get closer?
Sorry to all the season 11 cast members, or and previously, I don't
Should
think
I
anybody's
like?
ugly. What I mean is that I think we got some more personalities this season, so I'm pretty happy with that. They're pushing the envelope a little bit. Hey, this is about love at the end of the day, so let's find that. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah, totally. We've have such a diverse group of people, which is awesome, and different personality types, different energy levels, and um, I think, yeah, kind of echoing what you said. I think they did a great job. I do also like that the weddings were very interesting, very fun. Like I've never experienced a New Orleans wedding, but they look fun, and that
Mm-hmm.
was interesting to see. Uh, and last but not least, we got some accents. Not as much as I would like. I kind of wish we had someone with like a strong Southern accent. Um, like Olivia probably seems like the
Louisiana.
closest to that, where it's like a slight
Okay.
twang, but nothing. Yeah, I need someone. Yeah, like I need someone who's someone like stereotypically Southern accent. I think the closest we got to
Trying to
that
put people in a
actually.
box, dude.
Actually, you know what?
You're not from Louisiana if you don't have the accent.
Henry's dad was pretty close.
I was just gonna say
Yeah,
Henry's dad. He's got
Yeah.
it. He
yeah.
like leans back. He's like, "Here in New Orleans, we don't do." And I'm like, "Okay, like hello."
Are you gonna just do the entire thing with a New Orleans accent like
Yeah,
that?
that's gonna
Even
be
when
the
he
new way I
embarrasses Henry the entire time.
talk.
This man is out here doing a full stand up on his son, like just
Oh my god, that was rough.
just a
So
full
do we want to
set.
get into that? We're already talking about Henry. Let's talk about Christina and Henry. Like, what are your first
Yeah.
impressions of them?
Ooh, Mabel, you can. I'll let you go first on this one.
Everybody looked at each
I
other like,
so I don't know how my first impressions are that they're very different people, and it concerns me a little bit.
hmm,
Christina reminds me of someone who kind of doesn't take a whole lot of time to decide on things. She knows what she's about, she knows what she wants. She's not trying to waste anybody's time or her time, especially, which also makes me wonder how much patience she has. I don't know. That could just be my assumption. But thinking of her and Henry together and seeing how insecure Henry is, and he is very shy and evades eye contact, all those things that he talked about, I worry that she is going to be so frustrated with him and just fed up, and they're just going to clash if he's not like up to par with what she's looking for, and
hmm,
she's not as patient as what he needs. So I
hmm.
was I think they're both very kind-hearted people and very good-natured, and they have a lot of potential in being together, but I worry about their energies clashing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, they definitely did an interesting choice with the casting of them. Henry seems really earnest. Like he seems, yeah, just earnest and trusting, but like you said, a bit more reserved. I think his title is the Reserved Gentleman. I think is what they're
Yeah.
giving him, which is a pretty accurate description so far. And yeah, she seems a little bit more, um, a bit more social and a bit more decisive. It seems like. So yeah, I'm with you. I'm interested. Early first impressions, I'm a bit concerned, honestly, about them. Um, but yeah, rooting for them. What do you think?
Yeah. I thought Christina was interesting. Like, I think she was the one, right, who talked about how she just like really wanted a partner to like give her roses. And that was like this huge thing
Yeah.
for her, where like, or flowers of some kind, where like she was like, the last time like a man got me flowers was my grandpa. And then she like teared up. And I was like, okay, like you know, I mean, in one lane, like you know what you want.
Yeah.
And like that's kind of how you feel loved. And that's, you know, a thing. But she literally used the words that like, I haven't seen, like I kind of base relationships off of what I see in movies and like TV shows and things like that, which yes, there are elements of like real relationships in that, but it's also not super realistic in a lot of ways. So I really worry about her expectations around that, where it's
Yeah.
like she's looking for the Disney prince here who's going to like come in here with like the birds on his shoulder and be like, "Hey girl, like let me take care of your life." And like she doesn't have to do anything.
I think that's pretty
And
realistic.
like
Exactly.
she used
I
those
base all my
words.
love stories on the Notebook, if they're real or not.
If you're not kissing in the rain, is it a real relationship? It is it. It is not.
Is love. Yeah, that worries me about her, that her expectations are like kind of what we were talking about with Derek last season, where it's like the big love story, the big shebang, and it's like it's a little bit more grounded than that, I think. Like the everyday of love isn't always like the rainbows and butterflies. It's still good, but it's like a different energy than that like swelling romantic stuff that you see on TV. Um and with Henry, I thought he seems like one of those people who, if you really put in the time to get to know him, he is a freaking great friend, great partner, great whatever. It just takes time to kind of get him comfortable and to understand how he works. And so I like what you're saying about like she might be impatient. Like I think that will be the big sticking point, if anything, that like she needs to be able to slow down and meet him where he is and like just be in it for the long haul. And I think if they were to do that, then they would, you know, be able to move forward together. So we'll see.
Yeah. To kind of, there's one thing, something else I wanted to mention. Her picture that they do for each person. So, you know, they have the picture where it's like Christina and Henry. It's very unfortunate. Like
They did not do a good
it
job.
looks like a unibrow. She doesn't have it's, you know, it's just her facial
Dang.
structure.
They didn't light her
But like
correctly.
So the topic of today's
They
podcast
did,
is being superficial.
hey,
they did the same thing
I'm calling
though.
everybody ugly.
They did the same thing though with Deanna from Deanna and Greg. Her picture too, like she was like it seemed like it had been a long day and she like just needed to like blot some of the extra oil on her face and like no one was looking out for her. I'm like, this is a picture that's going on TV across America and the world. Like
yeah.
help these people look their best. It takes 2 seconds.
Dang.
This is no probably
Yeah.
people don't want to hear this, but it reminds me of like my passport photo. It was a long day and I got rained on and I was mad and like I had to go to Detroit's main office to do it. And it's just like I look back and I'm now stuck with this picture for like 10 years. I look back on it and I'm like, I was miserable in this picture. Just I wonder if that's
how I
what
remember
she's
mine
thinking.
too. I was
Yeah.
in a Walgreens and I had to like stand in front of the little pull down thing. But
Hmm.
I'm like 5'10", 5'11", so I was too tall for it. Like the bar was in the shot. So I had to like squat down in front of it was just the
Brutal.
weirdest. Thanks, Walgreens.
I'm just
That
like
was my global
picturing.
entry. I did the global entry application when you go internationally, so you can just
Mhm.
apply while you're
Mhm.
crossing the.
Mhm.
But because I just came off like a 16-hour flight, they're like, "Hey, this photo, and this becomes your global entry photo." So I look at that card, I'm like, "Yeah, that was."
Oh my god.
That
Oh
was a
my
rough
god.
day. It was a rough day.
If anybody has a beautiful passport photo, please tell us all your tips and tricks of
Yeah,
how to do that.
Well,
I don't think it ever
well,
happened.
just kind of, well, at least for me, I just waited until the last moment to take it. So probably don't do that. Like, do a little bit of planning beforehand. Um, but yeah, she's a beautiful person. Like, obviously, when you actually see her, but seeing that picture, I was like, huh. And then you see her in the rest of the show. I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, it's just you have a eyebrow shape. That's totally fine.
Yeah.
But I also found it very interesting. Like her mom walking her down the aisle was pretty cool too, and said a lot about their relationship. So to end the first impression section with them, anyone want to add anything or?
I thought that a lot of the people were super thoughtful. Like
Hmm.
and I'll just cover this part very quickly, but like a lot of the words I heard through like the vows, everybody I think is really taking this season seriously
Mhm.
from the first impression.
Yeah, yeah,
But yeah, I feel like a lot of these folks are just in it seems for the right intentions off the bat.
yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
yeah. I do. Okay, I lied. I had one other thing. Um, but I wonder if so she's a flight attendant, correct? And I
Mhm.
wonder if that is going to play a bigger part in the season, just because I mean, I from last season, Austin traveling was brought up quite a bit, and flight attendants travel. So I wonder if that's going to
Yeah.
be a factor. I mean, I think she'd mentioned like 3 times a week or something like that she's typically traveling. So 3 days a week. So I wonder if that plays a role going
Mhm.
forward. Um, all right, I kind of want to get to Karen and Miles. Like,
Let's go.
if
Your
you're
first impression.
first, I want to say this is a rough year for Karens as a name. Um, like
We were literally like brainstorming different nicknames she could take instead of Karen. We were like, maybe he could call her Kay or
K
like
is good.
Kiki or like something
I
like
like K. I
Karen.
think K is solid. I'm like, hey K, like it's a solid name. Um, and so my first impressions for them is I like Miles a lot. Honestly, I when they had the scenes of Miles and Woody talking to their friends, it was like a great friend dynamic. And one of the people there, she's like, Miles, I could see you getting married. You're ready for marriage. Woody, I don't know about you.
Yes.
And
Why'd you watch the show?
but like he has done a really from the these first 3 episodes, he seems to do a very good job of keeping things light, but also feels earnest. I feel like I'm going to use this a lot this season, where like every time he was talking, it's like, okay, everything is going to be okay. Like I see that. I could see why he works with kids. I feel like if I was
Mhm.
having a bad day in elementary school, that's the type of voice I'd want to hear, letting me know everything's okay. And then in terms of Karen, um, we've had an interesting start with
Mhm.
her, and um, I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure on her. I like the idea of her, and I like her mom was. You can tell she is like a very strong personality. Um, but yeah, I'm a little concerned.
Her mom has like that beauty queen energy. Like we were talking about this. It feels like she like used to be like in pageants or something. Like she's just so poised and has kind of that like proper vibe in all the
Okay.
things. And like that it was interesting. It is always so helpful to see people with their parents, with their family, because it's like, oh, okay, this gives us a little bit of a clue into like, what's shaped you into who you are now.
Yeah.
And seeing even how they interact like as adults with their parents is cool too.
That scene where she like grabs her and is like, no, 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 that's not what we're gonna do now. Like I know she was trying to be very sweet, but I was scared. I was like, oh my goodness. Remind me.
Like,
No, 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 no. That's not what we're gonna do now. I'm like, this is like a horror movie thing where they're like, about to cut off your head and you want to you want to yell. And they're like, no, 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 we're not gonna do that now. I'm gonna cut off your head.
What'd you think about that, Mabel?
Yeah, because I'm rambling.
I'm just enjoying hearing you two. Go ahead, like I'm listening.
I'm rambling hard this episode. Go ahead.
I liked that. They both seem very sweet. She's introverted, as she mentioned. She is a little hesitant about, the idea of opening up a lot. She mentioned because she's been hurt in her past, but she does want to be in that serious relationship with one and take it very seriously. And then he also seems very reserved. I think we'll learn more about him as we go along between, her saying that she found out who he was before the ceremony. Mm-hmm. Her bridesmaid apparently got a text that was meant for someone else and had the name of Miles in it. And so she did some cyber stalking to find out more about Miles. And through that, she found out that he is, all about emotions and talks a lot about them through his posts or whatever it is that she referenced. And so it seems like he's also a very serious person. And so that will be interesting to see how they have that evolve, because she said that he is not her type if she would have seen him just out and about and been, sat up on a blind date by him like a friend or something like that. And so I think that could put her at a disadvantage if she kind of like thinks about that too much and is like, oh, I already know so much about him. I don't normally want to be with someone like this, et cetera, et cetera. But I think like their personalities really complement each other in the sense that they seem very patient, very open, very loving, very wanting to take this seriously and committed. And they have similar interests too, like with kids. So I think they have some good energies together.
Yeah. I like them. I like the idea of them together. I kind of share your concerns about her. She just seems super nervous about this. And it's early, so it's hard to tell if it's just like, it's weird that there's cameras in my face now and that I have to talk about all this stuff like in this really super public way. And everyone's adjusting to that in these earlier days. I think with her, I'm seeing a little bit of a tendency to get really, really in her head. It just seems like she has a lot of reservations. And I'm like, they wouldn't have paired her with Miles if they didn't think that like he would balance her out. But she also has to be able to like quiet that stressed out voice in her head enough to like be with him and see what it is, like what they have together. So I'm kind of worried about her just like going all in, because she has been hurt in her past. Everybody in this season was like, yeah, my ex like cheated on me. They had a family. He had a wife. They had all this like really messed up stuff happen to them. I was like, okay, like we got trauma for days, like with all these different
really
folks.
Do.
Like, oh my God, like we got some warriors out here who have been through the like worst of relationships. Like to my knowledge, I've never been cheated on, but I cannot imagine like going into your next relationship and trying to like just be okay with trying again and not, like looking for all the red flags related to that. So that could just be playing into it too. I don't know. But I just hope she can be present with him, give it a shot, just try to relax and just try to like see where it takes them just naturally.
I fully understand her hesitation. If you're in a relationship for that long and it ends up in hurt, like I could definitely see why a person would like you're kind of looking for the red flags. Like, okay, I want to make sure this doesn't happen to me again. So let's look for certain things. And if this happens, they might be trying to cheat on me again. Or they might try to have another family on the side. Like I fully understand the, um, her, her hesitation.
Hmm.
And, um, and even like if I was in her situation and I got a hold of the person's name, I would look it up too. So I don't blame her for that, and I like the fact that she told him. She's like, hey,
Hmm.
it was very mature, and I feel like in a rom com she would not say anything until half of the movie's done, and then that's the thing that comes out, and she was very mature, and she's like, hey, this is what I saw, um, and it becomes a conversation, and it's a way for them to open up and talk to each other. So, um,
And it was Karen that had the 5-year relationship and he had the kid with somebody else.
it was Karen.
Oof,
Hmm.
Yeah.
that is
So,
rough. Not only did they cheat, but they have a child with someone.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. 5 years. That's wow.
Yeah.
That hurts. Um, and I mean, I imagine she probably thought that was the person. If it's 5 years, that age range, like
mhm.
that's harsh. So any other thoughts on them? Karen and Miles?
No,
Miles and
they yeah, like
Karen?
they seem sweet. We'll
I
see.
I do get the impression that because they're both very, very like pensive when it comes to their actions, that they're having like a slow start, and I think that's also good for them. It seems that
Mhm.
they're kind of just feeling it out for now and letting things happen as they may. So I got the
Mhm,
impression they're gonna have a really slow start.
Yeah. Oh,
mhm.
you know what? I take that back. I thought of something else. I feel like I said that last time. They have an age difference, right? So she is 30
That's true.
and he is 26. Um, and I'm curious to see if that plays a role in this. Um, I'm of the camp of age is just a number, but uh, it's a factor. So I could see that being a like if she for any second thinks, oh, there's a lack of maturity here, you have the age thing to back up your
Mhm. That bias.
that
Mhm.
Yeah.
bias, you know.
Do you
So
two think you could do it? Like, if obviously you two are engaged, so this aside, but like, is this something that you each respectively could handle if
uh
Like
you were in the situation?
be with someone who is like, significantly older or younger than you.
Well, I think the bigger thing is that you see a lot of guys in relationship with girls that are older than the girl, but this is flipped, where she is 4 years
She's
older
the
than
older
him.
one.
Like, do you
Mhm.
think that role reversal in that sense is something you could be in a relationship with?
I'll let Ashley, you can go first.
Yeah, it's hard to speak on us because we're literally like a month apart. So like we're
Mm.
like the same age. But I don't know. I've never really dated anyone that's like significantly older or younger than me. I think as much as I would like to say that like age is just a number and that kind of a thing, I think it would bother me. I think if they were older than me, I would think like I would worry about where I am in life and feel like I needed to be further somehow because I'm like this I always feel like I need to do 110%. And
Yeah.
so like I would feel behind. And I think if they were younger than me, then I'd be like, oh, I'm so much farther in life than you. Like, come on. And like, catch up,
Yeah.
even if they were kind of on the same level. So I'm not really sure I could do it. I don't know. I go.
So you know this already, but I weirdly was in a very similar situation where I think at that point I was 25, 24, and the person, it was a brief, like we went on like 3 dates or something. Like it wasn't anything crazy, and she was 30, 30 or 31, but like there was an age difference. I I didn't necessarily have a problem. I think now it could have been, it was like I said, it was 3 dates. So it's not enough to really, like, I don't consider that really a relationship at that point. So, but I do think when it comes to that type of situation, I was very mindful to continue to be myself. Like I think the worry could be in that situation that, I mean, Miles Eden said it. He's like, I'm very mature for my age and da da da. Like, I don't like the idea of having to apologize for your age. So I know I purposely tried, I was like, I am what I am. And uh, I think that would be my approach is you kind of get, you see what you see is what you get. And I'm not an immature person, but I feel like if you continuously bring attention to it or you're trying to act older than you are or more mature than you are, like that's not fair as well.
And who shows up for the date with a briefcase? Like, oh, I was just doing business. I just, I gotta put this down.
So sorry.
Oh, at the office today.
Investments?
Investments. But then also my concern would be, I don't know how else to say this, but like she would son him, if that makes any sense, where it's like, oh, you don't understand, young one, let me teach you the world. I personally would not be down for that. I would find that very just disrespectful. Yeah. Like I view, like, if you're, my personal opinion on that is your partner is that your partner. You guys are on equal ground. So if that person was to try to say, be the more maternal or whatnot figure in a relationship, that would be a concern for me. And my 3 dates, we didn't have that problem. So I was okay with that. But I already see bits of that happening with Karen and Miles, honestly, where, I mean, he very early was like, oh, I'm very mature for my age. And I don't like that. I don't like that. Like, I think you have to be yourself and be willing to make the decisions and take charge. And even if she's older, you should still treat that like any other relationship. So what about you? What would you, your feelings on it?
Off the bat, I would have a little bit of hesitation with that. I don't know if I would definitely write it off, just because I also think that's only part of the equation of seeing the person and, letting everything unfold, maybe realizing that they are mature or it's not as big of a deal because it doesn't feel like that much of a gap, because the way that my personality is and his personality, we actually maybe do act this, like, maybe same level of maturity where, you know what I mean? So I would say at first it would be a little bit of a hesitation, but not enough to be like, I can't do this. With that said, though, I would, and I do get very frustrated with people when they do like exactly what you just said about like trying to parent you a little bit. Because I feel like even interaction with people, sometimes they do that,
Yeah.
And I hope that with Karen and Miles, they kind of start to realize that, like, wait, like, Karen, I'm like, I hope Karen realizes that she is already starting to show a little bit of parenting towards him, and that they're able to like just quickly get through, like, okay, yes, this is age difference, we can't do anything about that, move forward with that kind of thing. So like at least it's like, okay, call out, move away from it, and keep going kind of thing. So like I hope that it does get called out in a way that it stops. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like it doesn't seem to be a problem for him. It seems to be more of a thing for her potentially. So she either needs to accept that or just call it. Like, if that's going to be a problem for you, you got to leave it. Like, because I think, like you're saying, I think once you get into any parent-child dynamic with a partner, Like that's no. Like that's a danger zone. It's no
Yeah.
good.
Yeah.
Like nothing. No, you're not going to have chemistry if that's your dynamic. Like because you're playing these roles, and that's not how that works.
Well, to interject, like there are a lot of relationships that kind of have that. For me personally, I wouldn't. I'm not a fan of that. But I mean,
maybe I'm just speaking for myself then. But
yeah.
I feel like once you get into those waters, then it gets like it gets really murky. I don't know.
I think it's just one of those things that's hard to backtrack from, right? Like if you are already starting to see the other person as your child, basically, and having to parent them in that way, even though that's part of the relationship dynamic, like that some relationships do exist in, that's the relationship. Like I don't really see that then changing too much, right?
Yeah.
Between saying, I really do see you as someone I need to constantly coach. Oh, but later on that won't be the case. Like, no, like that's your relationship.
Yeah. I do
today, yeah.
So I have like a mini theory on that, because you're right, that is generally speaking, like if there is an age difference, it's the guy is older. And I wonder if that's a situation where, this is very cliche, but for certain people, security is a big reason. Security, they enjoy having security in a relationship, and whether that person is financially secure or, emotionally intelligent, all these different types of things. And I wonder if the concern is, well, women tend to mature faster. So even though the guy is older, they might be mentally in the same range. And to use my brief example, in my opinion, I felt like we were in the same mentally. But if you're in that age group, you probably want someone who is financially a bit more in their career. And I wonder if it's a thing where, if you're dating younger, typically they're not as far along in their career as you. And I wonder if that plays a factor in, I want someone who's a bit more secure. And the guy who's in his early 20s typically is figuring out their career. And I wonder if that plays a role. While, maybe if you're already set in your career and you're confident in yourself, and you don't feel like you don't need that security, maybe you're willing to branch out and, date or be in relationships with people who aren't there yet, and you can kind of help them grow into that. Am I making any sense with that? Or I'm trying to like...
Hey, Zach.
Just throw in the music, just me talking in circles.
Just gonna slowly have a picture of Zach come over your head. I'm just kidding.
The editing.
Yeah, no, I think it makes sense. I think it's just everyone's individual comfort level with that. And I think everyone just has kind of a different thing on it. Like for me, I like somebody who's kind of in my space, both like maturity wise, spot in their career, that kind of a thing. I just know that about myself, and I have all these weird, stupid biases of like being with somebody who's in a significantly different space. So I know I wouldn't be able to get past that. But other people are probably more flexible than that and can be like, well, it's the person, and you kind of grow it from there. So I think it all comes down to, like with these couples, is being really clear with yourself about what you want and what you need in a partner, being able to articulate that, and being able to like always check in on that, of like not trying to make up all these stories in your head about like, well, they're okay because X, Y, and Z, and trying to make it fit when deep down, like this isn't who I want to really be with. This isn't the type of person I want to be with, as much as I like them. To kind of catch those things early. And like that takes a lot of that self-awareness. And I think that's what Miles does really. I think that's one of his strengths.
Yeah.
That he seems very emotionally mature, very hard on your sleeve, but not like in a naive way. It's like he is just kind of like cool with who he is. He's cool with talking about the big stuff, and like is kind of here for the ride regardless. And I think that energy is what's going to help what I'm hoping is that helps her, tide her over until she can get to that spot where she can be more less in her head, having some of those reservations kind of peeled back a little bit as they start to build more of a bond. So I think that's my tangent about why I think they're going to end up working. But I think that's going to lend a lot of security and safety to her, which will help her open up.
Cool. Makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense.
Anything else on them before we move on?
Nah, I got nothing.
Okay. Let's talk about Olivia and Brett. So we saw some interesting things with both of them, and I want to hear all your thoughts and feelings. So Mabel, you tell us what's on your mind.
I don't like Brett off the bat.
Big shot for you.
What was he doing with the whole trying to overcompensate and be the coolest guy in the room? Like, I felt like he was Brandon from season 10. Like, what are you doing? Just relax, dude.
Yeah.
And then he, at the bachelor party, wants to cozy on up to another groom's friend and squeeze, and put his arm around her, and wink at the waitress. And what?
Yeah, that was uncomfortable.
Dude. Very.
Yeah.
Very. Yeah. So I already don't like his energy. I already don't like how he's coming off to people. I think that a communication is going to be a big thing for them. Only because I don't like how indirect I see they communicate to one another. For example, Olivia had a lot of things that she was saying about, what she likes to do and what she likes to, her interests. Like, she talked about Lil Wayne. That was pretty cool. And she has all these interests with karaoke, that kind of stuff. But when you see Brett talk, it's almost like he would rather hear what the right answer is supposed to be before he kind of gets out what he's going to say.
For sure. Yeah.
And so I didn't really like that. And I also thought, and maybe this was just reading into his family a little too much, that they seem to be the kind of dynamic that just like to be jerks to one another almost. I don't know. Maybe that was just me reading into it too much, but I just didn't like how almost too nitpicky and just targeting some of the comments were.
Yeah. I mean, well, first, before I go into it, I wish, when she said the Lil Wayne thing, look at me sounding old. Little Wayne. When she mentioned Lil Wayne, I was like, I need her to break into some random song, I don't know, Amelia or something. Just go all in, just word for word.
Take her to a karaoke bar. I need to see this.
He's a great. I get it. I understand why she likes him. Yeah, totally. I think, to kind of piggyback off of your point with his family, I think it's a bunch of boys, right? So there's just competitive energy there, and you can tell they're big on kind of cracking jokes on each other, which, hey, my family does that too. We like to joke around about each other. I think the reason why I felt so uncomfortable, though, is they never. So to use my family as example, we will do that, but then we'll have earnest conversations like, "Oh, you did a great job," or "We're so proud of you." You have to mix it. You can't just make fun of the person the entire time. And the more we saw him, Brett, the more you could tell that really influenced his personality. He always has a sarcastic comment. He always has a joke to throw in there. And you could tell he kind of needed to have that in his family because they're constantly throwing jokes at each other, right? So I definitely could see that being a problem, because sometimes you just want to have a real conversation and not just throw in jokes. And as a person who loves throwing jokes, you gotta mix it in. You can't just be jokes all the time. So I definitely see what you're saying there. Ashley, what do you think?
Yeah, I mean, what y'all are saying, the negging is so persistent with his family, and totally makes sense. Once I saw him with his family, I was like, oh, I see why you're like this. because imagine being emotionally vulnerable with that group. They would tear you apart if he was just like, oh, I saw like, I don't know, I saw a rainbow today, and they'd be like, oh, like they would just tear, like that would be like
Why
this
would he
whole
say a
thing.
rainbow? Why is that the thing he would
It's
talk
the
to them
first thing I was
about?
thinking,
When he
like,
tries
oh,
to get emotional or sentimental, we know.
I saw a
yeah,
double
he like,
rainbow
or he's just
today.
like, remember that one Christmas, and everyone was like, oh, I don't know, I can't think of a great example right now, but I feel like if you came into that group with that energy and you were a family member, they would just like never stop making fun of you. And like clearly, poor Rory is like his younger brother. I think like
Yeah.
he's got the worst end of this. Like everybody is just like Rory, and I think every family I think has that person that gets picked on a little bit more than the others. And like
Yeah. Oh yeah.
my family, that's my younger sister, and like
We're cutting
Nina, if
that
you're
out.
listening to this,
We're
you're the
definitely
worst.
we're
But
definitely cutting that out. We're cutting that
she's
out.
never she's never listening to this.
We're still you can't. It's true,
But
but you
like
can't.
what I'm trying to say is in that environment, I'm like, okay, I get why he's like this.
Yeah.
Where even when he's trying to say something kind of serious about like his feelings or anything like that, and he's communicating with somebody who mm, he cares about in some way, he says the thing in such a pointed, directed way because it's like he's expecting that kind of judgment to come back. So he starts off at like a 8 instead of just saying like, oh, like I remember when we went to this restaurant that one time and it was a really good time. It was just like it goes to an 8 and it's like I don't. Okay, that's a terrible example. I can't think of examples right now. Just gonna
No,
cut
no,
that all out.
you had a good. It was good. It was good.
But I just feel like he goes too hard
Yeah.
because he's expecting that like backlash to come, and that's kind of maybe going to be an issue. And like I think we're just kind of seeing like that's led to kind of some very a-hole tendencies when it comes to like the way he communicates, the way he acts around people, like
Mm.
at the bachelor party, like we'll talk about that later, but like he was doing the most and just like really not acting like he was about to get married at all, and it
Yeah.
made you really question his intentions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's that. But like what do y'all think about Olivia, because she's kind of a different vibe but also has kind of some interesting ways in like how she communicates and everything that I think are going to come to play later.
Yeah. I in the beginning, so the first episode, I wasn't getting a lot of personality from her. It felt it reminds me of like the way a teacher talks to their students. Like she's very measured,
Mhm.
very like she's answering the question fully, like she's giving a thesis and then like a summary, and like it's very methodical. But later, the other two episodes, you kind of see her open up a little bit more, which is great. Initially, I just was concerned that so how do I say this? So the entire time, because like we see Brett doing all this stuff, I'm just like, oh no, Olivia, oh no. And she's
Walking into it.
yeah, right. And she's like, oh, I can't wait for my future husband. And then you see Brett like hitting on the waitress. I'm like, oh no, this is not going to be good.
He's got to cancel his dates.
Yeah, yeah. The
Ugh.
serial dater thing, I just that's ridiculous too. I have no problems with people serial dating, but the fact that he kept on bringing it up and stuff, I didn't like that either. But to go back to Olivia, I think overall she seems like a really sweet person, and you can tell she has her life in a situation that she likes. And my only concern is I think if you're going into something like this, just a marriage in general, you're going to have to make some changes to your lifestyle or the way your life is set up. And my only little concern, and this is very early, so hopefully this doesn't play in, but my concern is she's a bit set in her lifestyle. a little bit, and it gets tough. It gets tough to like try to fit someone else into that, if that makes any sense. So, yeah, that's my only concern with them. Out of the two of them, I think like if they are going to have problems, it's probably going to come from Brett at this point. So, no indictment of her, but that seems like something that could come up later. That's all I would say.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think?
What do you think of her, Mabel?
She seemed. Well, I also felt like I didn't get a whole lot of personality, because she was really quiet and reserved. But she also seemed sweet. I thought that was super funny. Her quirky, like, you have cats too. Like
that was sweet. Yeah,
that was pretty horrible.
I felt like I got a little quirky side of her, so I liked that about her. And she seemed like she gets so excited about the things that she gets excited about. She has like this side of her that's like super happy, you know? And so I liked that. I think it's interesting, and this is actually more than one person now in this season. She has a really close relationship with her mom, and she like considers her almost like her best friend and goes to her for everything.
Yeah.
So I think it'll be interesting to see the family dynamic, because his family is just so different than hers.
Yeah.
And she is definitely more on the quieter side. You know, she has her one person she goes to, and he has such a really big family and a lot of energy there. And so that'll be interesting, because I think also when she has those conversations, she just like gets really to the heart of it and very like,
yeah.
So that'll be interesting.
Totally.
Yeah, like it does feel a little bit like she's gonna have to lead him into the like those more serious conversations. Like I don't think he's gonna start with like, hey, tell me about your hopes and dreams. Like it's gonna be like, so where do you work? Like and we kind of saw him like sparking those questions at her like right after they got married. But I don't know. It'll be interesting to see how they mesh as they go, because we still don't like really have a good feel for them yet. So
I felt like she was leading that conversation though. Like after they got married, their first conversation together, she was pulling, like she was the one who was getting him to open up, and she was doing the work with that conversation. So she definitely seems like a person that you'd want to hang out with. I would give her that, even though I'm saying the lack of personality. Like she seems really sweet, you know? So I feel bad for saying lack of personality. That's all I'm doing right now, trying to correct that. You've got plenty of personality. It's just we weren't able to see it in these 2 episodes. The 3 episodes. Speaking of personality, Woody has all the personality you can ask for, and dance moves, and hats,
his clothes,
eyebrow movements.
His eyebrows alone could have a show. I can't.
I love how he does his little dances every single time. I'm like, yes, this is my energy right now. I love this. He's like in the mirror, like hyping himself up. Like
the scene of him trying on that one, like it was like a suit jacket thing, like of the silk and everything, and he didn't have a shirt under it, and he had his little hat on, and he was like he was like feeling himself, and I was like, he knows he's being recorded, like this is just him, I think.
This is his own show,
living his best life over here, trying on his outfit. Like, okay, Woody, we see you.
But I mean, Amani has her energy too. She definitely she likes to dance. She's extroverted. She likes to have fun. Like they together have a lot of energy.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, this is but that wedding dress was gorgeous. It was very well done. I feel like she had the best one. Not that people come to me for my wedding dress opinions. But yeah, no, I think it's very fun and interesting that they had the 2 best friends. So it's Woody and Miles, who are best or close friends. I'm excited for this, actually. I think that's a good call. Like you're gonna automatically have a nice, for lack of a better word, a nice energy in the group, because 2 of the people there already kind of know each other and like each other. in the beginning, I was like, "Oh, Woody's a lot. He's a bit much."
Mhm.
And on her, one of her confessionals, she's like, "Yeah, something to the tune of like, I don't want someone who's too much." And then they cut to Woody just being too much, and I'm like, "Oh."
He's over there like he just like put his socks on. He just like got to take a break.
Huh.
Oh my gosh, that's
But
great.
Yeah, but like once we actually see him though, it was like okay
seeing them
because he
together,
seems like that's just genuinely him.
yeah,
It's not like
Mhm.
some weird front like
hmm,
being the club guy.
yeah,
Mm-hmm,
yeah,
mm-hmm. It did concern me, the people that were talking about him just almost being a serial dater. They don't use those words, but they kind of talked about that he may be a serial dater. And so that'll be interesting because I think, wasn't it Amani that her friend said the first thing that would be a major red flag for her if she doesn't feel that she can trust you, which is a major red flag for everybody.
yeah,
But they seem to really pinpoint it for her. And so if she's given that impression that maybe she's not sure where your intentions are or what
Hmm.
your kind of focus is, it could come off the wrong way.
yeah,
Hmm.
yeah.
Hmm.
I was a lot more concerned with them before seeing them together. Once the wedding happened and we see their conversation, I was like, "Oh, I get it. I get why they're paired together." And she has like she will call him out, like he had that one thing about what are you mixed with, stupid line, and she's like black and black, and like I
Hmm.
like that she's on it. I like that she's
Hmm.
like you can tell she also has a lot of personality, but she's a little bit calm and I like their energy together. Like they have I think they hit the jackpot with these two. Like it is
Right.
they're fun to watch. They have like remember how we were complaining about Mika and Michael that they never had fun with each other? These two have had more fun in the brief interaction than Mika and Michael did the entire season, Like finally we got a couple that's like having fun. Like you're married,
Yeah,
you're discovering
like
this
this
new
is
person.
exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is an exciting thing. Enjoy
It's
it.
not serious from day one. Like you can
Mm,
enjoy each other and still get to know each other and have like these serious conversations. And
yeah.
like I love their dynamic. And I know I'm jumping ahead a little bit because we're going to talk about the weddings, but like the way that right after the ceremony they're talking and he was like flirting so hard. I was like, you just married her. Like, give her a minute to look at you and like
He's
to be
taking
able to pick you out of a crowd. She doesn't know
he's
you.
taking
Like, stop.
shots. He's taking
And she
shots.
and shot and shot and shot. And I love the way she was just kind of like, I'm here for this, but like, you're gonna need to slow your roll, man. And like, she was so like right on the nose of like, this is exactly how I feel. I'm still gonna like, I'm not shutting you down, but I'm just kind of guiding you. And like, I'm still speaking my mind. And like, but it was still like this weird, like, playful kind of flirty banter. I was just like, yes, like they knew what they were doing when they put those two together. I am so excited. Like, I just want to watch just them the rest of the show because it's just like they're just so joyful and like we don't get that in the early days of these like arranged
Yeah.
marriages very much where they're just both like here for it and just like yes
Yeah.
you are who was picked for me, like of course you were, and then just like taking that into like the whole relationship. So I
Yeah.
think it's going to be really fun to watch
Yeah.
them. I'm all
Yeah.
about it.
The only thing I had that I didn't enjoy was his vows. Practice your vows, man, before you get up there. Like it just seemed like he was like reading it for the first time. And it just like don't practice, man. And like I get not everybody's a great public speaker. That's fine, but like Henry, who doesn't strike me as a great public speaker, was able to do a better job with that. Like you got to practice, man. You got
Dang.
to practice. This is no indictment, Henry. He's one
Yeah.
of my favorites on the season. But he did a better job than Woody. So we need Woody. Come on. But like, yeah, he is like that is I feel like that's the energy you want when you're meeting
Mhm.
someone that early. Of like, I mean, at that point, you're only going off of physical because you don't really know that much about them. So he made it very clear that he is all about this. And I
Mm-hmm.
think that's kind of helping with her, where she's
Mm-hmm.
like feeling a little bit more confident, and it doesn't feel awkward, which is like they're doing a great job with that. So
Mm-hmm.
very impressed with them. Is there any? Do you guys have any concern that they might be a burn too hot in the beginning type of couple, though? Like, could you see this being, it kind of sizzles out by the end of the season potentially, or middle of the season?
What do you
Any?
think, Ashley?
Yeah.
Um, no, I don't think so. I think they both seem super genuine in it, in like themselves and who they are. It doesn't feel like they're trying to play the part of who they think a wife or a husband is supposed to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So, and like I also see her like I was just saying, like kind of guiding him a little bit with like what she was okay with in their interactions. So I feel like she's going to be kind of um methodical
Hmm.
about like the progression of their relationship. And so I think they would kind of have like that slow burn, and then it's just kind of that continuous thing where it feels like they're building kind of the foundation of communication around that. So I don't think so. I didn't get that feeling. What about you, Mabel?
Yeah, I don't think so either. I don't think they'd burn too hot and then go slowly because they didn't. They just gave me the impression of having fun with each other, not rushing the relationship.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And I felt like that was very different with some couples from season 10, that they were rushing the relationship, not just having fun with it.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that they just had some really good energy. I'm interested to see how they may argue though, because if they have so much energy already, I don't know if that carries into how they argue
Yeah,
as
what's
well.
that look like? Yeah.
Fair point. Yeah. Yeah. Like, yeah, I wonder, is this like one of those arguments where like plates are flying? Like, what are we dealing with here? Yeah. She seems
What do you think
so.
it is since you posed it?
Oh, that's right. I did. I.
He's like, I don't know, I didn't think about it. I
I'm
just
just gonna let you guys answer that. Um, no, I think if it was Woody dating Woody, that doesn't make any sense. But I think she has like the calm energy to like she's gonna keep a control on the relationship in that aspect. Like I think if it was up to Woody, like the way he's throwing shots out there, he's like wants kids right now. Like he's all about this, and I feel like she's the one who's gonna like slowly kind of
mm-hmm.
pause him a little bit there. Um, but I am uh yeah, I see them really going for the long run. Like they've got all the things that you kind of need. I feel like they
Mm-hmm.
have in their relationship. Um, and I'm happy that they got someone with like just a fun personality like Woody and Amani. Like I'm very happy that they're on this show.
Yeah, yeah, it's kind of like we don't have to only have like folks who are like very serious adults with like these very serious kind of approaches to life who are also looking for a partner.
Mm,
And like that's one of the things I was like I'm so excited about this casting is that like we get folks who are completely themselves. They found their own path in life.
mm,
They're super bubbly to like really reserved, but they
mm,
kind of have the rest of their stuff set up and they're just kind of looking for that partner. And so we get like such a much more broad lens of just humans in general that like
mm,
I think about like Dave and Amber from like many seasons ago, like that kind of energy where it's just like, well, I'm an investment person and now it's time to find my wife and we're going to go to the barbecue at my brother's house. Like
mm.
that kind of like very, like rigid way of looking at like this is the type of person who gets married. It's like no, all types of folks get married, and we get to see a little bit more wide of a range of people who are going through this journey, instead of just the like kind of more narrow group of people that I think we sometimes end up getting.
Yeah,
So that's what the part of what I'm just so here for this season. It's just like they're interesting people
yeah.
outside of just the fact that they're getting married. And I want to see like who they are and like what their lives are like and all this kind of stuff.
I will take that as a great transition. Speaking of people who are interesting and not what we typically get on this show, we can talk about Amelia and Bennett, who are. I feel like last season we were like asking for a bohemian hippie type girl for Derek. Well, we got one, but we got it for Bennett, and they are amazing, like absolutely amazing. I'm lost for words with them. Like they're so cool and so fun, and so to kind of give a little bit of information here, so Amelia is just finished med school. It seems like,
yeah,
and you can clearly tell that she is a bit more adventurous, musically inclined, which is kind of cool. And we have Bennett, who is more of a theater / musically inclined / drives pedicabs / like he does a little bit of everything. And it's very, very interesting to see them. So what are your first impressions on them? I'll let Mabel go. What do you think?
I liked that they're both so
I hit the mic.
quirky, and they definitely are so much of just into themselves, like just happy with who they are and express that part. And they also talked about it part of their upbringing too. Mm-hmm. Both of them mentioned being from families that were wanting them to be more expressive of who they really felt they were as people. So they talked about that foundation from the beginning. And I think that what was really cute was that they already met each other at a party some time back, and they already had good vibes about each other. And then that was like it the rest of the night. Like they had since never seen each other since the wedding day, and then come to find out they're married. I thought that was the cutest thing. And they, oh my gosh, like
cut to her
can
like
we make a movie.
Cut to her with her mouth open.
Girl never closes her mouth, I swear. I know. I was worried it was going to be like, I met him before and it was like they went on a date and it was terrible, or like there was some bad impression in there. Yeah. But it was just like, oh no, it was like so romantic how they had actually hung out. They like had a good vibe and then just never connected again.
They talked about credit cards.
She was like, you blew my mind. I was like, okay.
What conversation do you have about credit cards? Like he's like explaining credit scores to her. Like, you know,
oh my god,
she's got heart emojis in her eyes.
Yeah,
she really did. And even like little things, like she kind of mentioned she wants a stay-at-home husband, essentially, and that her mother was a doctor and her dad was more involved in raising the kids, and she kind of wants something similar. And I can't say this for certain, but it feels like Bennett would be game. Like he seems like he's game for everything. Like he is so confident in himself.
Yeah.
Him dancing with these strippers, hilarious.
Yes, that was great.
Hilarious.
Him and his moves.
He was doing this the whole time. It was just an arm pump. There was nothing else. It was just we call that baby dancing. You know how you have like a little baby and they're just bopping? Like that was it. That's just baby dance.
Oh, that was so funny.
Also, he doesn't have a smartphone? That's amazing.
He's got a flip phone. Look.
That's amazing. They exist? People like that exist? I had no idea. Uh-oh. Why is Mabel nodding?
Right?
Who do you I thought you were saying
no, I'm nodding. Like I'm like, yeah, like that's seriously, like I'm impressed.
I was worried you were gonna say you don't have a smartphone. You just have a flip phone.
Yeah,
too.
actually, like
it's like that.
What was the sidekick? I had the sidekick still.
Oh, bring the sidekicks back.
I did like the sidekick. It was like the kickstand or something. I don't even know. It wasn't very good.
The kickstand.
That's a funny name.
I don't think it was called the kickstand. I don't think so.
It's been a few years. I don't remember.
Did any of you guys have Blackberries? Were you ever blessed enough to?
No, my mom.
I had a hand-me-down Blackberry.
Yeah, me too. I was like, this is the professional thing. I'm just like texting like smiley faces to people. I'm like, okay, all right.
I just remember being like the work phone. Everybody who was a professional had the BlackBerry.
Yeah.
Take out. My dad loved to use a little center button, like scrolled around with a little mouse.
I'm working so fast. Wow. You're just trying to like dial a number. It takes 10 minutes.
Deals.
I look cool doing it.
Contracts, deals, over and over. Yeah, they are. I am amazed by them. Like, they seem so cool. I don't know what else to. Also, like, everyone who's talked to him so far in the show has been like, "Yeah, Brett's the guy, man. Brett's the." Sorry.
Brett's not the guy. He's not. He's not.
Am I gonna be defending him the entire season like I was defending Zach? Is that gonna happen again?
I don't know why you feel like you
Why
gotta
do you choose that, though?
like they're the worst.
I thought Zach was gonna be cool. I kind of thought it was gonna be cool.
I think pretty early on we knew that wasn't the case. It wasn't a big mystery.
This is why I don't date guys. I'd be a bad choice. I can't judge, I can't do that.
Yeah.
I'm a bad judge of guy character. Whatever, I'm going with it.
Okay. So Bennett and Amelia.
Yeah.
Good. Yeah, no, I love them. They're like I want to hang out with them. They just seem like when they were at when the girls were at the bar before their bachelorette party, and Amelia, she was talking about how she wished that she had asked for somebody who could do math and just talking.
Yeah.
And she had this like all this glitter on she had all this glitter on her face, and Agu was like kind of making a comment about like her makeup, and I was just like, no, but look at that. No one would do that if they didn't really want to. So like to me that tells me that she wanted to do that, so she did. And so she had like, it was crazy. It was like all glitter on her mouth and her eyes and everything, but it was like under here. And to me that shows two people, and like we saw elements of this in Bennett too, who are completely comfortable with who they are. They don't give a flying F about any other standards or like whatever other like larger society tends to do. Like they are just themselves, and they are completely cool with that. And like I'm here for that energy, like that kind of self-awareness of just like, this is what I want, this is who I am, I don't need to compromise that. Like I'm going to be happier if I just stay myself. And like you see that with the people they're around too, that they're just like, they are genuine. And so that makes me have super high hopes for them and their partnership, because it's like, if you're coming to the table with that, you don't need someone else to be like, no, you're cool. They already know they're cool. Like they're secure, they're good. So like we can build some really great stuff from there, because all the energy is going into how do we make this work together. And then you go into all the cool life stuff, and like they take over the world like one hippie corner at a time. Like I'm here for it. I'm so excited to see them like spend more time together and all this stuff, because they're just like so unique. I love it.
Yeah.
Or maybe just unique to TV. I know there's a lot of people like this in the world, but we don't see them a lot. It's so cool.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So can we give our predictions for all these couples?
Oh, can I do one quick thing before we do that? So I got a few things I found hilarious with them. When the photographer asked him to say his favorite breakfast in a sexy voice, and of course the man says avocado toast. Like, of course. Well done. That's millennial decisions right there. I applaud you, dear sir. Very good. Avocado toast. Solid choice. And his hat that he wanted to have.
Yes. Love that hat. Didn't think it went with the outfits, but I like that he really wanted to try to get that hat.
I love how the lady was like, oh, you want to use this hat? Oh, okay. So let's try something else. Like I love
She was trying so hard to be like, I think I got your vibe, but I'm gonna need you to say it, because else we're gonna have a problem. Like something more special, right? Like trying to pick out one that's like got all the embroidery on it.
Nice about it.
I love the way he like described his suit though. He's like, oh, this feels like something that an aristocracy would wear. I'm like, yeah, totally.
I get you.
Really do. And then the other thing while we were watching them, I was a little concerned because at first I was like, oh, haha, they're different. And then I started to like see stuff that I do that they did. And I'm like, oh no, I'm weird. I mean, I'm fine with that, but I've reached that conclusion.
Everybody's weird.
I always thought I was one of the cool kids, you know? I guess I was wrong. I was a nerd the entire time. But it was very, yeah, I thought that was very funny. So, okay, I'll shut up. You wanted to, predictions on them? Is what you want to do?
Yeah, I was thinking we could give our predictions for the 5 couples.
Sure.
Yeah. Do you want to start with Amelia and Bennett since we were just talking about them?
Work backwards? Mm-hmm.
So what do you think, Mabel?
I'd definitely give them a solid yes. I think they're complimenting one another. I think they're great. I think they're going to just take this run with it. They already started off on a good foot, meeting each other in such a cute little way. I'm yes all the way with them.
I go.
Oh, of course. Yeah. No, this is...
Of course.
I mean, the only thing that could potentially be a problem is the moving aspect. I'm assuming she's going to have to move soon if she's in residency and potentially move again to find a job. So that's the only thing that could be, and it kind of hinted on it with some of the preview stuff. So, but they're awesome. I think they got this. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yes, for me. I love them so much already.
Favorite couple? Favorite couple? Question mark.
Oh, let's answer later.
Okay.
Segment. We're very formal here on Cup of Three.
Of course.
Stick to the script.
Sorry. Who do you want to do next? Let's say Karen and Miles. Let's go to them. Mabel, what do you think?
I'm also a yes for them. They seem to work.
I go?
Nah.
It's a no from you, dog?
That's a no for me, dog. I'm very concerned that age difference, and I get like gonna sun you vibes from this, and I'm a little concerned. Yeah. So okay. No.
I'm going to say yes because I'm hoping, I know she has a lot of reservations, but I'm hoping that his consistency will kind of help that ease down. So I'm going to be optimistic this round 1. All right. Who do we want to talk about next? Who do you want to predict?
Olivia and Brett.
Olivia and Brett. What do you think?
No.
Okay. No.
Yeah, Brett's gonna get to return to doing what he loves best, speed dating on these streets. Yeah, no, I'm a no. I'm a no for that as well.
Yeah, I'm a pass for them as well. Yeah. And more because of Brett, not really her.
Right.
I feel like she's gonna play a bigger part than you guys think. Like I'm not so sure about her in the relationship. I think she's an awesome person, but
okay.
Yeah.
Okay. How about Amani and Woody?
I'm a yes for them.
Yes. Okay. I go?
Oh no, of course. Yeah. Like I'm rooting so hard for them.
Yes, for me as well. Woohoo. Okay, lastly, but not leastly, Christina and Henry. Mabel, do you think they will last?
No, I'm just worried about their dynamic together, if they can find a way to support one another.
I go? Take your time, really. Just
cut to the people listening to this, thinking, "Oh, did my
did my headphones disconnect?
Did my phone die?"
No, just a good thinking.
So
we can put music for you.
We'll do the clown music they always do when they're like bombing their vows. He still stays quiet.
I just so. Like I want to say no, but I could see them also working out. I could see like this. It will take a while, and they're gonna have trials and tribulations. But I could see them like making it in the end. I really like Henry. Like he seems cool, and I'm gonna say yes. You know
All
what?
right.
I'll change. I'll say yes. Like it's gonna be painful, but I think they got this.
Okay, I'm a yes because I don't I can't really put my finger on it, but with them I feel like there's something that could work there. So I'm interested to see how that all plays out.
Sexual tension between the two of them.
So much, yes. Hopefully that grows a little bit more because there's some weird, awkward, not existent chemistry in that realm.
Yeah.
But that might just take time. Like every couple is different. Sometimes we've seen in past, couples in past seasons where it takes some time, but they end up
Yeah.
staying together because they kind of just wait out that awkward period till they get to know each other. So I think that could happen with them too. I think. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Totally.
Okay, what about favorite couple so far, Mabel? Out of these 5 folks, who are you feeling?
How about you go first this time?
Oh, me. Oh my God.
She switched the tables on you. She switched the tables.
I am here for Amani and Woody. I really like seeing them together. I love Amani's energy so much, and I'm so excited to just watch the rest of the season with them. So they're my favorite for this week. Do you want to go now, Goo, or
I mean, I want to pick them too, but
you can?
you know what? I'm going to say Bennett and Amelia for my favorite couple.
Okay.
I like the hippie / avocado toast energy that I'm getting from them. Avocado toast is delicious. So, he won me over with that.
Wow. Go be with Bennett then. Damn.
That hat.
It's just the hat.
That's a deal breaker.
Like, no, man, you can't do that on your wedding day, man. You can't.
Oh.
What about you, Mabel?
Mine is Amani and Woody. I feel like they're just gonna have fun together and then, do their little dance moves together.
Yes. Yes, yes.